Hello YouTube, this is Delmor21.
And this is Dolph87. How you doing today, Delmor?
Not bad. And today we are going to be talking about the goods and the bads of Linux.
Well, you just said it right there, man. There are no bads of Linux, in my opinion.
Well, I know you can download a emulator for Windows, but there should be way more custom, way more abilities for you to do stuff. Like, for one, a lot of programs are based on just Windows and not doing stuff on Linux.
That's true, but yeah, let's go ahead and talk about some of these pros and cons of Linux. Linux, number one, much like Windows 7 tries to be, and Windows 7 is okay at this, but unlike most other operating systems, as soon as you install Windows on your computer, you already got your sound drivers, you already got your internet drivers, and you already got your video drivers. They're there. Boom, right off the bat.
Yep.
And see, that's good, number one. A lot of people talk about, the negativity, the downside of Linux. Some people, like to talk about, it's case sensitive, and everything's case sensitive, and just the user, what's the word I'm looking for? The user GUI.
Not sure. Just
that it's not very user friendly. The setup of it is very, very unlike anything else.
But what makes it special, though. Linux is not like anything else.
Exactly. And you got to remember, people. People go. People get on Linux and they're like, "Yeah, screw this. This is too hard." It's not really that it's too hard. It's just you've been using Mac or Windows your whole life. So it's pretty much starting over. Like when you first started using Windows, did you know what you were doing right away? No. It's the same thing.
Yep. A lot of companies are starting to do it, but since it's on Linux, they probably won't be able to sell it. Because it's so hard to make the compatibilities, because there's so easy to make your own version of Linux. That's one of the other downsides to it, that you cannot sell stuff on it because of how many just distributions there is out there. And being compatibility with every single one of them, it's time consuming and costs a lot of money.
Well, and see, that's another thing, though. You can also look at that as a pro. How much would you say people spend on a brand new Windows platform? Anywhere between $100 to $250. Whereas you can go online and download Linux absolutely free. You got Ubuntu, which is very popular with people. You've got Mint, which is very popular. You've got Puppy Linux. There's just so many different things that you can get. And the cool thing that I like about Linux, I like how you said it, was that there's just so many programs that are exclusively designed for Windows. But the great thing about Linux is that you can configure your own programs. They have so many open sources for like video editing programs, sound editing programs, game programs that you can just tweak to your liking.
Yeah, and it's saying that on Windows you have to buy everything. And if it's not the way you like it, you call the company and tell them about it. But on Linux you can just configure this shit yourself.
Exactly. Like, what's it called? Linux, oh man, I don't remember what it's called, but there's a couple versions of Linux that whenever you install it, you're basically, in order to use the operating system to begin with at all, you pretty much got to build it yourself from the ground up. A lot of people bitch about that, but number one, if you know what you're doing, it's not that bad, and it gives you the chance to pretty much design your own operating system. Put this shit together yourself.
Yep. Most people are probably just too lazy to do it, or, like you said, been stuck with Windows their whole life, or Mac, or people. Windows is more for casual people who really want to get stuff done quickly, but Windows may be easier in the short term, but Linux is easier in the long term because troubleshooting stuff is all right there for you. You can, learn it and configure it yourself to how you like it.
Yes, well said. Another thing that I really love about Linux is because it's free, the people that put this stuff out there, they're not really into making money. So the cool thing is, and I'm sorry if I piss anybody off with this, but Windows and Mac are all designed for two reasons, or for one reason and one reason only, to make money. So when you get on Windows, you got to get your virus scanners, you got to get your antivirus software, because you're constantly getting viruses, and it's costing you money to get rid of them unless you know what you're doing. Because, there are ways in Windows and Mac to get rid of viruses absolutely free, but for the most part, one of their biggest selling points is, Norton Antivirus, McAfee Security Center, and AVG, and all this, and you gotta buy it, and you're spending money to get rid of these viruses. The great thing about Linux is that since not a whole lot of people use Linux, and they're not about making money, you don't need virus protection, because number one, most viruses are designed for Windows. The other ones are designed for Mac. There's very, very, very few viruses out there that are designed for Linux. But at the same time, Linux pretty much just takes care of it itself. Because, again, they're not trying to make any money.
On that note, stuff doesn't stop working on Linux because you configure the program right when you install it. You put the line code in when you install it. So it won't stop working when you install a program on Linux. You basically program it into your computer and it doesn't mess up.
That is absolutely true. The days, like seriously, if everyone just switches over to Linux, the days of seeing this error message, Uliti Video Studio has stopped working. Find out why. See error report. You don't need to do that shit because seeing the error report's not going to help you any. Every time a program fails in Windows, what do? You uninstall it and reinstall it. Most of the time, they don't even fix the problem.
And as far when it comes to drivers, on this note, when it comes to drivers, right? Drivers are already pre on there. And mostly the drivers for Windows that they put, they're changing stuff or they're fixing bugs or stuff like that. With Linux, there's no bugs to fix, and there's nothing that breaks down, so they don't ever have to change their drivers.
Exactly. You will never see automatic updates on Linux. You'll never see that download Service Pack 2 or Service Pack 3 or anything like that. And with Windows, whenever you download the new Service Pack, yeah, that might fix one problem that you had going on, but all of a sudden now you got like 15 new problems that came from this update.
And and when it comes to games, I've seen a lot of people that play some of the games that I play, and their video is 10 times better, their sound quality is 10 times better, their everything is just 10 times better. They don't have no problems, it doesn't crash, and anything else.
Mm-hmm. Now let's talk about something else about Linux. Let's talk about the when it comes to like just the overall graphics of Linux. Just Linux, if you configure it correctly and you're doing everything right, Linux is very, very pretty.
I agree. And there's different distributions out there that have so many different things. You can just about do any type of customization that you want to your own liking on Linux.
Yes, you can. Pretty much anything that you can think of, you can do it in Linux. It's just like you said earlier, Delmor. People are just way too lazy to really take the time to get involved and to do this learning process.
Yep. What's your overall review score? I give mine a 9 out of 10.
Oh, for Linux?
Yes.
Dude, I gotta say, man, I give it a fucking 10. I really do.
Yep. And guys, that about ends it for today. Make sure you check on our channel and subscribe. We're gonna be doing this every week. Just post down in the comments below and tell us what you want us to review or talk about next. You got anything else to add?
I do. Have a great day and